And like I advertised before, we have the all-star reserves. And let's go with the classic question here. Who should have made it and who's not on this list here, man? What do you guys think, Mr. G Mike? What you got first, man?
Dude, I was going over the stats yesterday, right? And before we get into the all-star snubs and all this stuff, first I want to point out that I have this biggest pet peeve with the NBA, and they like to include all-stars that are on winning teams, right?
Mhm.
Which in a sense I understand, but then again, like this is a team game. It's 5-on-5 out there. It's not 1-on-5. You can't blame certain individuals for their team play because the team overall is not good when they're having a fantastic season. For
Mhm.
example, LaMelo Ball. He's averaging
Correct.
28 points per game. He's
Yeah.
averaging 7 assists per game. He's averaging 6 rebounds per game, right?
Mhm.
First of all, he didn't even make an all-star starter, which he should have started over Donovan Mitchell in my opinion. But I understand why they put Donovan Mitchell in there because the Cleveland Cavaliers have the best record in the NBA right now. And he's the one
Mhm.
leading the pack. But he's only dropping 24 points per game with 5 assists per game and 3 rebounds per game. So who's having the better stat line? But you know what? Let's leave Donovan Mitchell out of the mix. But let's look into the reserves. Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, even
Mhm.
Damian Lillard this year. They're
Yep.
all not having better years than LaMelo Ball right now, bro. So my itch is the NBA. You need to really figure out if you're going to give these players the meaning of what it is for these awards. NBA All-Star, they're having the best season. The top 30 players in the game to get these awards, not because, oh, they're on a winning team, so we're gonna just put in the second and 3 men of that the number 2 men on that team and the number 3 men on that team to go into the Eastern Conference All-Stars. And I'm alluding to the Cleveland Cavaliers here. They have 3 All-Stars on that team. And it's like if you put Darius Garland and Evan Mobley on a team that is sorry, I bet they won't be All-Stars. I bet they won't be All-Stars.
It's a fair point.
So that's one of my All-Star snubs, and I'm gonna let you guys go because I have another one later on. Come back to me.
All right, Miss BC, what you got, man?
I will say one all-star snub for me that I don't really understand as much. Domantas Sabonis from the Kings. Like, I know
Thank
obviously
you.
that,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
obviously 20 points per game, leading the league in boards per game. Again, probably going to get another rebounding title this year.
15 rebounds per game. If you round it up.
Exactly. 6 assists per game as well. Like we always talk about Nikola Jokic as, the all-time greatest playmaking center, and that's true. But Domantas Sabonis is no slouch either. Like he basically does a lot of what Jokic has been doing this year, minus the 3 ball. But that's another discussion for another day. But yeah, 20 points, 15 boards, or 6 assists. Like how is this guy not at least a reserve? And it's just one of those things that's frustrating to see. And again, it seems like the goalposts kind of shift here and there for different players. Like we said, we like to reward teams, we like to award teams or players that are on successful teams. And it's like, okay, that's works for some years. And then other years we just kind of switch it up entirely. Like, oh, well, yeah, this guy's having a monster season. Like, can we just pick a lane and stick to it?
Exactly.
Like I said, like there needs to be some kind of statistical relevance to this conversation. But yeah, Domantas is one. One that, I kind of understand the omission, but I'm kind of a little peeved at Franz Wagner with the Magic. I mean, before he went down with the
man. That was injuries.
I know, but I will say though, before the injury bug hit him, he was having a case for one of those underrated MVP
What
type.
about Pablo? What about Pablo? The number 1 guy in Orlando Magic.
Well, we also need to preface this as well, is that these are the reserves. So there is still a chance for some of these guys. We don't know what's coming out, but I agree. I don't think either of those Magic players are going to be on there.
Yeah, and I don't think that Sabonis is going to get love either. Like I said, like I feel like the West has a lot of guys that they're gonna give the nods to who they usually give the nod to, and it's like, okay, I get it, I understand, but at the same time, it's like, but this guy's having a great season. Like, come on.
Yeah, my gripe is I'm going to keep it because it's my team is the Dallas Mavs. I know they're having a little bit of off year that they did last year, but they're sitting third in they're third in their division. But how about Kyrie Irving, man? Kyrie Irving is averaging 24.3 points a game. You know, and on top of it too, Luka's out and he's been carrying the team. So how Kyrie, one of the most popular players, for sometimes good, sometimes bad, one of the most talked about players in the league, and yet he's not on this list at all. I don't know. I kind of have an issue with that.
They put Jalen Williams in front of him because the OKC have the best record in the West, and he's the number 2 player on that team. But he's dropping 21 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 5 assists per game. That's not better than numbers as Kyrie right now, bro.
Right.
Yeah,
Kyrie's carrying the team.
Well, and Kyrie's doing it on over 50% from the field and over 40 from 3. So, like, my guy's not just carrying him; like, he's doing it efficiently. So,
exactly. He's playing great basketball, like flat out great basketball. But yeah, I kind of thought that was an issue with that as well. And we're definitely gonna have some more All-Star talk. Obviously, the game's in a couple weeks. But we'll be actually going over next week, I believe, the actual starters. And of course, we'll probably have some gripes with that as well.
I really want to talk at some point about how are we going to judge? Like, I want to have a talk one day about like all NBA, All-Star, like all this stuff, because it's like you've got one where, it's the fan vote. The other time it's, this is the writers, this is this. And it's like, can we just get some consistency across the board? Like, I don't know. It's
the fan vote is the starters. The reserves are the coaches. The coaches are the ones that pick the reserves, right?
Yeah.
So even thinking from a coaching standpoint, how do you think that Jaren Jackson Jr. averaging 22 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists is having a better year than Domantas Sabonis, who's dropping 20 points per game, 15 rebounds per game, and 6 assists per game. How do you think that is?
How he did it?
Their biggest argument is going to be defense, but again,
bro,
the point of the game is to put points on the board, and it's to also you get boards as well. Like, I think a lot of times people look at rebounding as something that's it's just its own separate thing. It's like, no, like rebounding does play a factor on both ends of the court. So like I think rebounding should have a part to play on defense. So, like you're boxing out, you're doing your job. Like that's not he's not going to give you like 2 blocks a game, 2 steals a game like Jaren Jackson's going to do a lot of times, but he still contributes in other ways. So
yeah, Jaren Jackson is a way better defender. I'll give you.
Yeah, on ball for sure. Yeah.
We're going off of the players that are having the better season, bro.
Yeah.
Their better season. And it's like, bro, top 30 players in the NBA each year. Obviously, you don't go off past years. You go off the years that they're having right there.
Yeah.
Jaren Jackson is not having a better year than Sabonis. I'm sorry.
Yep.
He's not.
Yeah. And again, it's how much does name recognition mean in this kind of stuff? And it's like it's so tiresome to just hear guys that, yes, they're bigger names for sure, Triple J versus Domantas, but like how much longer are we going to keep going with this where we just give a guy's famous?
It could possibly be the fact of like they're 24 and 23 right now, sitting 3rd in their conference. Same thing with Dallas as well, where Kyrie may have got the snub. So maybe they're just going very top heavy with who's got a winning record. But I agree with the NBA. With the NBA, it's a little bit different. It's so personalized. It's so one man can change everything type of league. NFL. That's different with MVPs and stuff like that. Like that, it's a team sport. But in NBA, one player can single-handedly take over the entire game and take over everything. So
if you're asking me,
a little bit more love to those 2 in particular, and there's the list goes on. But I think those 2 in particular.
If I have to choose right now, for example, like if I'm the Magic and I got to choose which of these 2 guys I want on my team, Sabonis or Triple J, like at this point in this season, give me Sabonis because he gives you,
bro,
he's just providing more.
Dude, if you're gonna start an NBA franchise, you got Triple J or you got Sabonis.
Yeah,
I'll put $1,000 right now that 80% of people are gonna pick Sabonis.
Yeah, a big that is basically the second best playmaking guy in the league and gives you 15 boards a night and can also be very efficient from the field. Like,
I'll play the devil's advocate in that one. Then maybe just the fact that they're on a better team and that people would go with what the better player because they're on the better team. So Sabonis might not be the 80% pick that you think because the Sacramento Kings. I only know one person actually watches Kings basketball. Who watches Kings basketball? So maybe that's what it is possibly. But and neither one of them are in major markets.
That's where my itch comes in. Like if we're picking all-stars, top 30 players in the league. It shouldn't be off of wins. It should be on their play because there are just some teams that are not good. And then you got players that are on good teams that are they're freaking nasty. Like Shea, like LeBron, like Jason Tatum. Like
Yep.
they're great teams. They're great teams overall. But when you do the individual stats, just like Tyler Hero, for instance, the Heat are not that good. They're all right. They're seventh in the East right now. But he's been having a phenomenal year, a better year than Donovan Mitchell if you look at the numbers. But
Yeah.
obviously, Donovan Mitchell's on a better team because their team overall is just better than the Miami Heat.
Yeah. Well, and some guys though too, like some teams, they have great records and everything, and but it's more of the team is the sum of their parts, not really the guys that drive the engine moving forward. Like if that makes any sense. Like it's more of a team effort, it's a collaborative effort than this guy is just that dominant. He's carrying the load.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's one thing, as much as I don't like LeBron, it's one thing to be like, okay, like this team is great because he is the driving force. He's making them great. It's another thing to be like, yeah, there's these 3 or 4 guys that are making the team great and they're having good seasons, but they're not elite like the '04 Pistons. Aside from like maybe a Ben Wallace, who would you legitimately say would be like, oh yeah, that guy's an all-star for sure? Like
No,
Chauncey Billups?
the Pistons this year.
Prince,
The Pistons
maybe?
this year.
Yeah.
I mean, Kate Cunningham 100% deserves it. In my
Yeah.
opinion, I think he should be an all-star 100%.
Well, like
But
04,
the team,
but like 04.
the team surrounding him as well is what makes him like that
Yeah.
much better. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like if he's giving alley hoops or dishing the ball in tight spaces to Jalen Duren, and Jalen Duren is grabbing 15 points, 15 boards per game, but still putting up 12 points per game with that assist that Kate Cunningham is getting him. He's going to get chances to get open, to create his shot when he comes off the pick and roll. It's
Yeah.
either he's going to dish or he's going to take the shot himself. He has opportunity to get assists, and he has opportunity to drop 30-point games like he did last night.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, we definitely have a bunch of all-star talk to come up as well. So we'll definitely be digressing from this for now because we definitely have next week major all-star talk, man. And we got the new format. There's a lot to talk about to digress, or I meant to digest with the NBA All-Stars.
I don't think there's any more of a contentious subject in all of sports than all-star votes. Like that, This is probably arguably what we're going to talk about next, but pretty much it's anything, any subjectivity like this. It's like, nothing grinds sports fans' gears more.